Number 1. Hey guys, today I want to talk about some shop improvements I've done in my shop that seem to have really helped. And the very first one here is inside this box, I've got a pancake compressor. It's 90 psi. And attached to it here on the sides, I've got a motherboard of an old Pentium 4, and on top I've got the power supply from that computer. Around back, I've got two fans. One's blowing in, one's blowing out. And on the inside of that box, I've got a maze of birch plywood that goes back and forth. And the inside of the box is carpeted. Now, if you decide to do this mod, I'd highly suggest making sure you got plenty of airflow so your air compressor doesn't overheat. But it really does make a huge difference in the way it sounds. So I'll do a quick test here in just a second, but first let's take a look at the box. By using the power supply rocker switch, it gives electricity to the motherboard and then powers the two fans that vent the box. After pulling the box out and removing the air compressor from inside it, we can take a better look at the box. If you notice, I've gone ahead and used some standard screws to put the motherboard up on the box. It would probably be a wise idea to cover this up so we don't get a short or a shock. If we come around the back here, you'll see that I've got an intake fan and an exhaust fan. Both these fans are doing pretty good. I could use a little bit more air and a little bit bigger gap, so if you decide to make one, I'd highly advise that. Let's turn the box over to get a better look at the inside. Here you'll notice that I've carpeted the inside of the box by staple gunning it to the inside frame. I've also set up a maze of plywood to go ahead and allow air to enter and exit the box.
Alright, so I've kicked it on so you guys can hear it. I'll just kind of be quiet. It may be kind of hard to tell, but we'll see if we can tell the difference now. What I notice is you can hear it next door, which I like to work at night when it cools down. We're outside the garage here. Let's go a little farther. I can still hear it really well. It's pretty darn loud. Here it is with the box over top of the compressor. It's a very manageable noise, and it's pretty easy to talk over. So let's step out here real quick and see what it's like to talk, normally. We'll get back to the same spot here. Alright, so you can hear me very clearly. And you can just barely hear it. If we get too far away, you won't hear it at all. So it's still running.
Number 2.
I'd have to say the second shop improvement that I've made in my shop would be this chute catch that I made. And it's just basically for all of the wood that you run off of your bandsaw. It'll actually catch it, collect down there. It gives me a nice place to store it. What was happening was it was falling on my countertop here, and then it would get behind my workbench, and then that just becomes a pain because you got to get on your hands and knees to clean it all out. So this really does a nice job of catching all that, and when it gets full, it's actually movable. I'll just go over and dump it in the dumpster and let the garbage man take it.
Number 3. My last workshop improvement has to be the organization of my tools. It may look a little cluttered here, but it uses the French cleat system, so it's great for moving around. It's taken me a while to put this together, and I really like how it works. I always know exactly where my tools are, and it makes me put them right back where they belong.